Unmute. What is up, my friends? I was muted the whole time for like the last 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the live stream. There's a reason why I wanted to start this off at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, because I want to know who my hustlers are, right? So the hustlers are the ones that are going to go and get it done. And yeah, when it comes to side hustles and additional streams of money and revenue, it's like, man, that's easy. Like 99% of this is mindset. Like I could share strategy, tactic, all this stuff with you all day long. But the funny thing is like none of that actually matters. What matters the most is the mental game. So by the way, let's just take a second to appreciate where am I going? To appreciate like my Miro account. This is like how my brain works. This is all the videos we cover. Like literally everything on this channel is on this Miro account. Crazy, right? So anyways, let's see. Let's give it a few minutes. I'm 15 minutes early, 10 minutes early. I wasn't sure how long it'd take me to get ready. I was literally just training, grabbed a shower, ice bath, quick shower, and boom, here I am. So, I mean, it's 6 a.m. for you guys. So we're going to get into side hustles, passive income, all the fun stuff that all the cool kids talk about. Going to sign up for the Patreon today. Cool. Appreciate that. You will get access to the Discord, which the Discord is really where it's at, guys. Like there's people in there that I'm incredibly grateful to have in there and sharing, and like some of these guys have so much access to capital, it's retarded. But yeah, tough times out there, right? Like let's not sugarcoat it. So you got to have as many tools in your arsenal as you can. The great news is I've done so many things on this list. I know people who have done so many things on this list. I've either done or hired somebody that's done just about every single thing on this list. There's over 70 side hustles we're going to share with you today. A little bit different than the credit card stuff, I know, but it's still personal finance umbrella. And I'm excited. I'm really excited to share this with you because this is going to be a big piece of it for a lot of you. And the reason why I say that is because, going and getting credit is great. But you got to do something with it, right? Got my smoothie getting delivered. Thank you. You got to know what to do with it. And so otherwise it means nothing, right? So yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, we're like 10 minutes early. Any questions? I'll take like quick Q&A, but I was going to offer to bring a bunch of people on stream and stuff. I think we'll do a celebratory stream after we hit 10K subscribers, and that'll be all about you guys. We'll bring a bunch of you on, share your stories, like all the stories and journeys that I've been covering on the channel. Like that's you, that's the community, that's the Wall of Monkey family. So yeah, we'll bring on a bunch of people when that happens, which it's going to happen quick, man. I think we're going to get to 10K real quick. It seems like all of a sudden, like the algorithms like us. And so, yeah, we'll see. But 6 a.m. in the morning, I wasn't sure how this would do, how many people would show up, but I appreciate everyone that's going to pop in, pop out. I know that a lot of people are getting ready for work right now or whatever you got going on. But yeah, side hustles, man, this is where it's at. Like average millionaire has 7 streams of income, which that's old data, by the way. I actually think it's a lot more now, especially with the times we're about to go into. Millionaires, billionaires, they just think differently. Billionaires think so much differently than a decamillionaire, than a guy who's just barely making $1 million gross per year. And those guys all think differently than somebody who's making $60,000 a year, $40,000 a year, right? So anyway, cheers. How many fitness people we got? And I'm expecting to get comments on this piece right here on the replay when people watch it later. Protein, bananas, the whole 9. All right. This is the way you start your day, my friends. This is the way you start your day. Healthy habits, getting your mind right, getting around the right kind of people, because you can do anything. You can do anything. There, I said it. So in life, you're taught as a kid that you can do anything, and then we forget about it, and we lose track of that. We lose sight of that, and we have like society beat us down, and we have all these rules and get in line and raise your hand to go to the bathroom, and all this stuff occurs. And the next thing you know, like your dreams aren't so big anymore, are they? By the time you hit 18, 19, 20, your dreams get smaller and smaller and smaller until you finally do what? Get in line. And so, yeah, we don't do that here. We don't get in line. Not on this channel. No way, sir. All right, cool. So you guys want to get started? Throw it in the chat. We just got a couple of people on. Throw it in the chat. You guys ready to get started? Get it going? So this is going to become a piece of staple. We're going to do this every year. This first one is going to be so small in comparison to the one we do next year, in comparison to the one we do every single year. But I strongly think that every year from now on, we are going to do a side hustle series and do it a little bit differently every single year. So this year, maybe we'll highlight side hustles that I've done. And maybe next year we'll highlight side hustles that you guys have done. Maybe I'll bring in some of you guys to talk about side hustles this year. I don't really know, but additional streams of revenue and income are required right now. Okay. August spending was up 18%, consumer spending. Non-revolving credit is still sitting at all-time highs, like ridiculous all-time highs. Personal savings are below COVID lows. So essentially, what is that telling us? That's telling us that people are living on their credit cards. People are going and getting more credit, and they're living on their credit more now than at any point during the pandemic, which should be concerning, right? Good morning. Greg, what's up? Corey, what's up? Guys, all right, let's dive in. So the good news about everything that I'm about to share with you is like a lot of this, most of this is not theory. Most of this is stuff that I've done, somebody in my family's done, or I've directly hired somebody to do and had to at some point explain the process, create SOPs, talk about it, understand it deeply to be able to do it, right? So the beautiful thing is being in the United States, man, it's hard to explain this, but I'm overseas right now. So it's 6 p.m. for me. I'm exactly 12 hours ahead of you guys. And just the level of access that you guys have in the United States to stuff, to apps, to people, to tools and technology to go do something. Like I could go instantaneously go to Home Depot and buy tools and go and create something, buy tools, buy wood, go create something, sell it on Facebook Marketplace right now. Like your ability to do that, please understand that is huge. That is amazing. That is incredible, because in other parts of the world, you cannot do that. In other parts of the world, there's such limitations on power. There's such limitations on the tools you can get access to that you couldn't even go do that. But it'd be so incredibly hard in some places to go and buy a saw, go and get all the wood, get it back to your house. In a lot of places you don't even have a garage. So where am I going to cut this stuff? Levels, triangles, squares, all this stuff is like we take it for granted. It's just like, oh yeah, duh. Like everyone's got basic tools, right? In their garage, everyone's got a garage to build in. No, that's just not the case around the world. So you've got a massive advantage. And I think a lot of people have forgotten that. I think it's really easy right now to get on the bandwagon of like, oh, we're so oppressed and the United States isn't so great. Forget all that. It's amazing. It's absolutely like you will not have the opportunity anywhere else on the freaking planet that you have in the United States. Please, please, please recognize that. Okay. So that all said, yeah, there's just so many side hustles. Like my mind was going nuts coming up with all this. So, okay. Hopefully I can see this because I had to set up a second screen just so I could do this. So you're not seeing what I'm seeing. All right, there we go. There we go. Okay, side hustles, passive income. Let's dive in. Easiest thing to do is you want to call it arbitrage. You want to call it, whether you're doing this on retail. Let's get the mouse back. Whether you're doing this on retail, whether you're doing this with stuff you already have, whether you're doing this in any capacity, buying from one place, buying low, selling high. It's like the stock market. It's so simple in theory, right? But there's a lot of nuance there, and it can be really, really hard. And sometimes you lose money as well, right? So buying something from somewhere and selling it somewhere else, right? That retail arbitrage is such a popular topic, and it has been ever since 2020. Is it going away? No. So the first fear is it going away? No, it's not. It's not going anywhere, because what's going to happen now is, so shipping containers went all the way up to $22,000 per shipping container. Now we're back down to $3,000 per shipping container, but nobody's shipping. You know why? Because Costco, Walmart, everybody stocked up on inventory thinking that they were going to be short on inventory. So they got the inflation, deflation part of the recession that we're in. Yes, we're in a recession. They got that part wrong. So it's left them with a ton of inventory. So if you think deals are going to be sweet during the holidays, I'm telling you, I actually think they're going to be sweeter right after. I think they're going to be sitting on so much inventory come January 1st that they're going to have to fire sale this stuff off, and it's going to be like Black Friday every single month. Now, I could be wrong. So take that as a cautionary thing there. But the what do we want to call it? The flow, the issues with flow. I'm blanking on the word I'm trying to say here. The issues with flow around the world with goods, right, is going to continue to happen. I don't really think that was like a one and done thing. I think that now what's going to start to happen as more nationalization occurs, like more people want to bring in all the production and creation of things into their country and be a little bit more stingy with how much they outsource or export rather. You're going to see more and more issues with the flow of goods around the world, right? Supply chain issues. That was the word I was looking for. I don't know. I'm still beaming on pre-workout though too. So we're going to continue to see those issues. So there will be arbitrage opportunities. So I put this one at the top because it's by far the biggest right now. And I've been playing around with this myself too. So the next and the biggest video that you're going to see probably in the series is my fumbles through Whatnot. So I've had a pretty interesting experience through Whatnot so far. I got like lost down the rabbit hole of vintage video games, which I started off with one plan and then quickly ended up overspending into the plan. And then, yeah, I'm going to give away a bunch of that stuff on the channel. So these giveaways that we're going to be doing over the next month through this whole side hustle series is pretty much just my way of giving back. I just thought like, hey, I don't really, well, I would keep the stuff, but I think it'd be cooler to give it away. So anyways, those are going to be some of the giveaways. And I'm hoping as the giveaways grow through the holidays that we get people from the community that just jump in and say, hey man, I got $100 gift card here. I got this here, and we can do giveaways that way. But let's see, one thing at a time. So you can 100% buy off Whatnot, whether this is vinyl records, VHS, DVDs, you name it, right? You can buy one-off handmade creations off Etsy, and you can flip those on eBay all day. You can flip those on Amazon all day. Walmart has an FBA program that's just like Amazon. It's only been out for like, I don't know, 4 months, and there's people killing it on there right now. Another thing you could do is you could go thrifting. So I know that like there's a huge point in time where like thrifting was like looked down upon. I've always thought it was cool. I've always thought it was cool to go to Goodwill and see what kind of treasures you could find, right? Maybe that's just me. Garage sales, same thing. So garage sales are not dead, even though Gary Vee talks about it and he makes it look cooler, I guess. But garage sales and thrifting at Goodwill or any other local thrift store or flea market, I mean, there's huge opportunities there. Yes, you can still find, it's harder, but you can still find Nintendo games for $1. You can still find Super Nintendo games for $1. You can find holy grails and hidden gems, complete inbox stuff all the time. So that's not dead at all. Also, too, if you're not like into video games, well, into DVDs, into VHS, into pottery, into old school electronics like CRT monitors and TVs, or VHS and DVD combinations, like all of that stuff. What's funny is that it's coming back around, and a lot of that stuff, it sells for a good amount, right? So all of that, anything you could think of, whether you're a mom that's into knitting and you just want something part-time, or you're somebody that's trying to, kind of relive your childhood with vintage video games, anything in between, there's all kinds of room there. There's also room to go to kind of like bulk bookstores and bulk like stores that sell many things in one. I can't think of the names off the top of my head. Maybe like a Bed Bath & Beyond, but there's a couple better versions in the South in Florida. And you can even find stuff on there and flip it on Amazon all day long. So anyways, I think I've talked enough about that. Any questions specifically on that, drop it in the chat. But again, like, please understand, most of what you're going to be up against is yourself. Most of what you're going to be up against with starting any side hustle is, man, I need to get all the information. So analysis paralysis. I can't start until this. I got to get all my ducks in a row. I have to, become an expert at this before I get started. And really, like, the value isn't just jumping. So the thing I'll say that, the entrepreneurial mindset, one of the pieces is that you got to get used to like just jumping and starting over, starting over, and like getting into motion. Whereas most people sit around and just think about it, talk about it, get excited about it with their friends and never actually do anything with it. Cool. All right. So yeah, garage sales, thrifting, Goodwill, all those are huge pieces. Okay. Next, and probably I would say even easier than what I just discussed is work in the gig economy in some sort of way as a hail driver. So this would be Uber. This would be Lyft. What else are the other ones? I don't know. They're actually bigger in Asia, believe it or not, than in the United States. Like Uber was not an original idea to the US. Asia's been doing it way better for longer. I mean, they will pick up and deliver anything for you here. I rarely go and get my own food at a restaurant. It's picked up, like I order it, it's picked up and dropped off to me. You want to pick up and drop off something like an item, boom, use this app, right? Gojek, Grab, there's all kinds of them. Gojek is probably the biggest in Asia, but those apps are absolutely huge. So there's people that make full-time incomes and their main primary job is driving people around, driving things around, dropping off food, et cetera, et cetera. And that happens on the bike side and on the car side, because out here, there's a lot more like motorcycles and bikes, like, bikes than there is cars. So anyways, work as a hill driver, like that's an easy part-time gig. And what's interesting about that is you could have even qualified for a PPP loan or an EIDL loan by just being an Uber driver. Now, how you would have applied, now it's way too late for me to be talking about this, but how you would have applied is you would have applied as a sole proprietor. And you would have just, put down your income that you're making as a driver. or as a food delivery guy, right? So even if you're like working like old school food delivery, like at a specific place instead of through an app, even that like qualified as a sole proprietor, and you could have gotten an EIDL and a PPP loan, right? So a lot of people don't even know that. It's a shame because I think there's still a couple $1 billion, $5 or $6 billion sitting in that fund that hasn't been pushed out to people. So kind of a shame. Okay, yep, delivering food, goods. So you could be a private shopper. So think of this. Okay, so if the whole concept exists to pick up, drop off people, pick up, drop off food at the low end scale where everybody's kind of using it, it would also mean that it exists on a on a private level as well, right? So if I could work out some kind of deal with a high net earner and I'm like their assistant, or I'm like their kind of like their go-to person, right? It's a pretty cool gig right there. Okay. If you're sitting on a car, or like there is man, what's the service everyone's using now? All the guys are getting credit and doing it. I can't remember. But anyways, there's a whole hustle where you get cars and then rent them out. I know that that's probably going to die at some point if it's not already, because too many people were talking about it. Too many people were doing it. But you could rent out your car for two purposes. You could rent out the car for the day or per day to somebody. If you've got a truck, you could rent out your truck. Like that's another common thing in Asia that you could take a piece and part of that playbook from is you can rent out a truck. So if you need something big moved, rent out your truck, right? So you could do it at that scale, or you could do it on like a daily, weekly, larger scale, right? Something like that. You could be the driver or not be the driver. Okay, what do I got here? Renting out car, primary household goods. Oh, right. This is another thing that people don't think about is like, man, there's a large amount of the economy that like they don't have a couch, they don't have TVs, they don't have electronics. So like you can rent that stuff out daily, weekly, monthly, and like don't get me wrong, like it's a grindy business. A lot of these are like grindy businesses, meaning like you got to really be in there working at it. But then again, like once you get that set up and running, I mean the income is fairly automated with that, right? Because you've got the locations, you've got the online booking platform or whatever you've created to it. And so after a while, like people start coming to you and your advertising starts to really pay off. You could also rent out space on your car, advertise on your car. Like this is nothing new, right? But again, like all the point of this first live stream in this first video is to just give you guys ideas, get you thinking, yeah? Okay, let me kind of wanted to check in on Discord. I hope it like opens up over here and not over there. Let me just check in on this really quick. Can I? Nah, better I don't. Okay. All right. Next. Okay, be a virtual assistant, personal assistant. Already kind of talked about this. I mean, again, this is easy play, but I don't know whether it's pride, ego, something in the United States. Just really, people just can't do that, man. They can't just work for somebody else like that. I don't understand why. If you want it bad enough, you're going to get it, right? So be a virtual assistant. Again, that can work for you anywhere around the planet. You can be a digital nomad and travel around the world if you wanted to. Personal assistant, same thing. If you wanted to be locked down and grind it out in a certain specific industry or in a specific city, New York, LA, whatever you want to get your start. Well, personal assistant is a really great start in a lot of those places. All right. Make money off your craft. Oh my God. I got to really be careful. I don't spend like all day talking about this stuff. Make money off your craft. I've done this in so many different ways. It's crazy. And what's amazing now is that you can go to YouTube University and in like a week, as long as you like test small, you can go from like, I have zero proficiency in this thing to, I'm dang near ready to be hired and an expert at it. And I've done this time and time again. And I'll give you specific examples in just a minute. Okay. So make money off your craft. If you're an expert at anything, like a lot of the, like your parents, my parents, right? They've worked their whole lives at something, whether they're an accountant, whether they're a skilled trade working with their hands, like they now possess a skill that the entire population coming behind them do not possess, especially like if it's old school machinery or old school ways of creating something and building something. The new school kids, they don't know nothing about that. So there's value there to be exchanged. And all this is like, if we simplify making money, it really is just an exchange of value. Like you're giving me information, training, consulting, coaching, something that is of value to me. And I'm going to give you my hard-earned dollars fiat in exchange for that. That's it, guys, right? That's it. Okay. So write a book on like one of or all of your areas of expertise. You could do this in many different places. You could go for big publishing or you could self-publish on Amazon. And again, that's its own grind. Each one of these is like a silo. So we're not going to go super deep in each one, but understand that there's tools, training, YouTubers, experts in that field that just focus on that one thing, right? And so you could drill down into that and bang, you're off to the races. Create a course. You could do this on, let's see, Udemy, Teachable, Skillshare. There's probably a lot of other platforms too that you could create a course on. Some of them have ecosystems. Some of them don't. So Udemy has its own ecosystem. So you can give discounts and they promote you and they send you out in their emailers across the entire network and the platform. You make money. I've actually got courses on there that, trickle me in like a couple bucks every single month. And they have for, I don't even know when I published that. I published some of this in like 2015, 2016, I think. So they've been making me money forever. I actually forget about it. Create a course, launch a YouTube channel. Hey, here we go. That's what I did on this. And I've done it in many other areas as well. And, again, if you've got expertise and you're able to clearly communicate your value, then I think you'll do quite well, right? Freelance. And again, I could go super deep into that, but, understand this isn't the first channel I've launched, and I've launched many channels in the past. And so like, this was just the next iteration of that, right? Yeah, you could be a freelance writer in any capacity, man. You could write for blogs. You could write for, it's not that hard now to get a job at like big corporate America if you actually wanted to. Being a writer, I don't know, the style of writing as a reporter nowadays is just like, I don't even understand it myself, the way that they talk. So I don't know if that would be your thing, but all the way on up to the other side of it, like, so there's freelance writing, which would just be like really basic stuff. But then if you possess skills or can go and learn skills like copywriting specifically, oh man, huge, stupid money in copywriting. I mean, copywriters will get, $25,000, $30,000 to write ad copy. Now, understand that a lot of that is contingent on how it performs. So as they start sending traffic to it, how is that traffic converting, right? So a lot of that, again, there's nuance to that. There's a whole silo to drill down on that. But at face level value, like I can tell you as somebody who had to learn this, like I learned Photoshop skills. I learned Premiere skills. I learned how to code software. I learned how to code websites. I learned how to write copy. I learned how to tell stories. So I researched everything from Hollywood and how to tell stories on that side with the hero's journey piece, all the way through to John Carlton in every single piece that he ever put out with how to do copywriting. So that was all because my very first and one of the biggest gigs that I had was selling stuff online. And so it was selling software online. And so we had to write copy for that. So I sold software, and we tried to do like digital programs, like teaching people how to make money in digital programs. I'm not really a big fan of that because there's like 98% of people who never do anything with it. And I guess if you're cool with just like making that money and then like pretending like you don't have guilt about it, cool. But I had massive amounts of guilt with it. So that was not really something I was into. Yeah, still makes me itchy thinking about it, but we mostly focused on software. So I had to learn copy, conversions, marketing, Facebook ads. Oh my God, making videos, all that stuff I had to learn, right? And so back then there wasn't even really a lot of great YouTube videos explaining it. Now there's so many amazing YouTubers explaining like the entire playbook on how to do this. And now the issue is that because there's so many people freely and openly talking about it, now people watch that content and they're thinking, nah, dude, there's too many people doing this now. Now it's too easy. It's like mind blowing. Like when there was nobody talking about it, you complained that nobody was talking about it. And now everyone's talking about it. You're complaining that too many people are talking about it. So it's like, get your priorities straight, right? So anyway, yeah, any questions, drop them in the chat. So I know that a lot of people are just like getting ready for work and whatnot. Like it's 6:30 a.m. for Eastern Standard Time right now. Again, part of why I wanted to do this, let me just take a side note, is that you guys are my hustlers. You guys are the ones who are going to actually go make this happen. Like you're the ones that understand that in the morning, I have to program my mind right. I have to start my day with healthy habits, hit the gym, hit a smoothie, hit my greens, something. I have to do something different to get a different result than the rest of the world out there. You understand that. You've taken that and you're now trying to apply that. That's why I wanted to do it at this time, because I knew I would literally get the cream of the crop in terms of who's going to view this thing live immediately. So you guys will be able to, again, go and act on this, walk through the rest of the day with hopefully some ideas and inspiration as well. All right. Yeah, so you could continue doing this. You could coach others. I've done this, held huge event / mastermind at $1 million, multi-million-dollar mansion. We charged $5,000 to $10,000 per head to do this. I've done that multiple times now. I've sold other people's coaching and consulting programs, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. So I've done all that, right? Taking a step back, the sales experience that I have actually started with doing door-to-door sales. I did door-to-door sales in Detroit, Michigan, and then I moved down to Hialeah, which is right outside Miami, Florida, and that was like my crash course into selling, and like trying to understand the basics of that. Up until that point, not so good at it. Managed a couple of health clubs, and I thought the biggest issue that I had was I wasn't good at selling. So I said, okay, here we go. We're going to throw myself into the deep end again and go do door-to-door sales. And it was, oh man, it was horrible at first. It was so bad, man. It hurt every ounce of my body. Yeah, and some of the crazy stuff that you deal with in Detroit, getting knives pulled on you, guns pulled on you, dogs sicked on you. I mean, yeah, because we were basically doing door-to-door sales, like solicitation, even though we were trying to like convince people that we weren't soliciting. We were. So anyways, that was like my whole foray and start into that side of it. But yeah, and it's like, okay, look at that all the way back to when I was like a young 20-something-year-old, and then look at how that scaled over half a decade. It scaled to charging people $10,000, $20,000 to sit around and learn about, XYZ topic. So it's like, what started off at door-to-door sales, making barely minimum wage. I was actually a commissioned salesman. So my minimum wage at the time, I think was like $300 a month. And then everything else was commission. That all the way to that. Make sense? And that is the long game. That is the long ball that you should be playing. Now, I know that right now it's like 3 to second attention spans, right? Like I'm watching the numbers. We're going up in viewers, down in viewers, up in viewers, down in viewers. People are popping in. Nope, I don't like what he's got to say. Let me go back to TikTok, right? Like our attention spans are so bad right now at this point in time that like people just can't stay focused on one thing. And that you see that expressed in other ways in their lives. They can't stay focused on one thing to the finish line. They can't stay focused and then get that one thing up and running and then leave it alone and then go over here and start this other thing. They can't do it because focus is just like bad. Everyone's ADD all of a sudden. Okay. Coaching others, consulting others, coaching and consulting corporations and businesses. Again, like all of this is a silo to drill down into. I'm just trying to give you like the overarching thing. You drill down yourself. Launch a website, speaking engagement, tutor others, especially in another country. Like the easiest thing to do is like, okay, you go to another country, teach them English. You speak English. You speak Spanish, you speak French, you speak Japanese. Go teach that thing in another country. Boom, easy, right? And they have like networks to support you to doing this. Okay, you want to talk about like some grindier stuff? So be a mover, like move people's stuff. So do it privately or work for a company. Like I think you'll make way less if you do it for a company. I was a mover for a while. I was a roofer for a while as well. Really dangerous job because we were doing it like low key on the side. And we weren't even wearing harnesses. We were changing out roofs on apartment complexes. So we're like way up there, we're like 50 feet in the air on the, 3-4 levels. And we're like doing the roof. Thank God it was like a, low pitch, but man, I don't know. The boss must have had a mini panic attack like every single day that hopefully somebody didn't fall off the roof. But yeah, be a mover, a roofer. I don't even have that on there. Dog walker, baby kid, pet sitting. Like dog sitting is a thing now. I don't know. Call me crazy, but like, hey, dog's gonna be fine if you just leave them alone, right? And so, anyways, there's pet sitting, house cleaning. Again, you could work for a big company or you could do it yourself. Like if you're really, really good at it, why would you go and work for this like Molly Maids, right? I think Molly Maids is a big one in the US. Like go do this privately. You could probably charge more, and you could kind of maybe work yourself into other deals within that network. Let's take another side step really quick. Right now in your network, you probably got everything that you need for these side hustles. You just don't realize it. Let me say that again. Inside your network right now, you've probably got all the people, all the tools you need to create, launch, scale your side hustle right now. You just don't realize it, right? So you're out here like looking for all these other people when you've already got them in your network. Okay. Rent out parking. Yeah, this is an easy one. Again, like in different countries, like you got to understand, like not everybody has parking at all, which is, again, it's just like such a weird thing. We take that for granted in the US. Like, everyone's got a garage. Everyone's got parking. Everyone can just go to Home Depot and build something. No. That isn't true in other, parts of the United States and in other countries. But this becomes really apparent in downtown spaces. So like, this downtown parking is always horrendous. If you've got access to parking, I can rent out parking. If you want to rent out long-term parking in your neighborhood to somebody who can't get a spot somebody else, you could do that too. Or somewhere else, you could do that too. Okay. Now we're like getting into like internet marketing kind of type stuff. So affiliate marketing or any kind of, we called it internet marketing back in the day, like back in the day when there was like black hat SEO forums, and everything was just kind of getting created. There's like who was in the beginning, man? It was Ryan Dice and a couple other guys. There's Frank Kern who came along later, but who was the other guy? Mike Phil-Seam. Wow, how did I remember that name? He was like the original, one of the very first that I remember seeing pop up. And I know that he took notes from a couple others. I think there's like Joel Comm or somebody else who even came before him. But like OG internet marketing, when the internet kind of first started, that's when I got started in internet marketing. So I got to see all of that and then kind of insert myself where I thought I wanted to go with it. But yeah, affiliate marketing is still huge to this day. Beautiful thing is you've got all kinds of big platforms. Like we put affiliate links for signing up for Discover, Capital One, American Express, because it's like, yeah, we get a little something, but you get a lot something. And that's how they make the deals now. Is like if you refer a friend, which is a nicer way of putting affiliate marketing, then you'll get a little piece of that. Good morning, WL. Welcome. Guys, I'm gonna end this. We're about 30 minutes in. I got maybe another 30 minutes in me, and then I'm gonna hit it. I don't want this to be like super long, but you can come back to this. It will be on the channel. And yeah, this is like the kickoff. So subscribe to the channel if you're not already, because we're gonna be doing giveaways throughout the next month. You also get to hear I think it's a hilarious story of Whatnot and my experience on there. And then also too, I'm gonna be giving some like some super tips and like ways to crush it on that platform, because I've now spent probably 100 hours watching Whatnots, and I can tell you what works and what doesn't, because I pay attention to that sort of thing. So I'm going to give that away as exclusive content to Patreon and the YouTube members. But anyways, okay, affiliate marketing, become an influencer. Man, I hate that terminology. Like, so cringy, because so many people abused it. Like you saw that in other countries, like a US influencer who maybe bought followers or maybe did some shady stuff to get their numbers pumped up, go to other countries and like demand that they get a free hotel night stay, or, let me talk to the manager to get something for free. We saw those viral videos and situations pop up time and time again. That was definitely the wrong way of doing it. And I think that gave a negative connotation. Also too, it just seemed like as people got more influence, they got douchier and douchier. I don't know if that's like a corollary or what, but if I start getting like that, I expect all of you to call me out on that. That being said, is becoming an influencer just means like you've now taken like your area of influence and now brought it to a public market. Public market sees value in it, and your popularity within that platform or within that community skyrockets, right? So that's I guess the simplest way to explain it. And you can do that with anything, guys. You can do that with building houses, building garages, doing epoxy floors, doing anything like that. You can become an influencer, an influence. And each one has its own perks. Like I'm sure at some point we'll get cool sponsorship offers and stuff on this channel. If you did like woodworking, you'd get like tool offers. Like Milwaukee would just send you like everything they make, which, oh my God, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Like the table saws and the drills and all the different size ratchets and stuff. That'd be incredible. So yeah, that's like the upside if you put in the time. Yeah. Because you're going to be putting in, like, to become an influencer, to do YouTube. Oh man, I got to tell you now, you're going to be putting in a ton of time. You're going to be like grinding it out for 6 months to a year before things really start to move. And so I would just expect that out of the gates. Whereas I think like if you did something like going to the thrift store and trying to retail arbitrage, or excuse me, that's not retail, but arbitrage in some sort of way, you could do that right away. Retail arbitrage, again, you could like order a pallet from Home Depot right now. Walmart, Amazon, you can do all kinds of different pallet systems now. Furniture stores do it now too. Costco does it, I think. All right, how you guys liking this? Give me something in the chat. Let's take a second. Let's breathe for a minute. I haven't breathed in 34 minutes. How you guys like this? Good? Yes? No? Continue? End it here? Quit here? It don't matter. All right, we'll continue. Yeah, I'm not getting anything, but we'll continue. Okay. All right. Flip retail products. Yeah, I just talked about this. Yeah, it's like really popular right now. We actually opened up a side hustles channel in the Discord, and one of the things that I immediately linked everyone to was this guy who does it on YouTube. He basically flips furniture pallets. So he buys furniture pallets, which are not cheap to get. So yeah, you can start out with a couple $1,000s. But again, if you got access to credit, which is what we teach on this channel, and now you got a fresh 30, 40K business card, chef's kiss. Beautiful. You're in position. You can start to like dive right into the deep end, even though I would say start small. You could dive right into the deep end on something like that. And this guy crushes it, man. Yeah, he does really, really well. So again, you can do similar return pallets for Amazon. Like I said, I think Home Depot does it now too. Walmart, I know, does it. Probably some other big hitters do it as well. Okay, cool. Next, freelance. You could freelance anything, by the way. Freelance anything. Okay. Photography, videography, design and branding. I've done this. I can do design work. I can do branding work. I can help craft a marketing, whole marketing like message and direction for a brand, right? 12, 24-month plan, whatever it is, right? Down into, what's a specific campaign look like? That's actually like a lot of where like my primary gig or job is, right? Is doing that. Website development, I can do that too. Front end, back end. It's with CMS stuff, but still. Back end development, I know some of that, right? Because one of the very first hustles that I did was I middleman people. So I would go and I knew that in the US, there was a ton of people looking to outsource to overseas, but they didn't know how to do it. And the biggest pain in the butt at that point in time was trying to communicate with these guys because their English was horrible. So I would communicate with people from Pakistan, India, etc., to do development work, and they would do it for the client in the US. So I was the point of contact. I went and hired this guy to go and deliver the project for this guy. So I'm communicating on both sides, right? And yeah. And so, anyways, that was a great first side hustle that I did. And there wasn't a lot of people doing it back when I did it. This was when like freelancer.com was huge. There was Elance, which doesn't even exist anymore. And what was the other one? Upwork came. Was it Upwork? Yeah, I think Upwork came along after. But yeah, man, that was a huge side hustle for a long time. So I had to learn code so I could understand and make sure that these guys weren't taking advantage of me, and these guys actually were doing what we wanted them to do. So again, like put yourself in that position. Like, what do I have to learn? And then I just reverse engineered it. I went through all these courses and then practiced and got good at it, so I understood what was going on. Social media management. I don't know. This kind of seems like it's played out, but I guess not. I guess there's still a ton of people who do this. And again, if it's saturated in your market, go to another market. Go overseas. Go to a niche that it doesn't seem really popular for. Go to something else, somewhere else that nobody else is really looking. That's how you make all these ideas, which none of what I'm listing off here is brand new. Like all this is like a bunch of stuff that you already know that I'm just reminding you of. And then it's up to you to like look at that in a fresh way, right? With a fresh set of eyes, fresh perspective, something like that, right? Cool. Yeah, middleman employment. I basically just gave my experience there. Social media management. I mean, I think I kind of sort of did that for a little while. I guess you could call it that, but it wasn't really my cup of tea. Yeah, I guess if you had that streamlined, that could be cool. That could work really, really well. Okay. By the hour, you will eventually get burned out. It would be great to categorize passive. Yeah, I guess what I would say to that, WL, that's a great question, is I would just say that don't work hourly then. Like try and get it per project basis. Like everything that I listed, you could pretty much get per project basis. Like, so you're taking, and that's a really great point. Like I will say this, you will make more money when you take yourself out of being a commodity and make yourself into an offer. Let me explain this. If I go in, okay, let's use this as an example. I got my phone right here. So Apple sells this phone, right? This phone cannot be sold more than the next one. They decide a price and it's rolled out across the board, right? This graphics card that's sitting right here on my computer, 3070, gets created and rolled out across the board. Now, supply chain issues start to happen. We see fluctuations in the price. But for the most part, the MSRP is the price that this can be sold for. Never more, never less, right? Unless used, unless whatever. Freak circumstance like a pandemic happens, right? For the most part, this is a commodity. Now, I'm me. I'm one of one. and I can craft that into making an offer. So again, I could do it with this right here is, okay, well, this is a phone. How do we make this special? How do we make this into a one-of-one offer? Well, if I'm a multi-million-dollar earner, then what if I give you my contact list? Or what if I give you a personal introduction to some of my contacts that are going to be most relevant to you? What if I give you access to some way that we can communicate on a regular basis outside of like a WhatsApp or Telegram? I give you like something really cool. Like for a long time, Voxer existed, right? It's like a walkie-talkie. You have walkie-talkie access to me 24/7, right? And maybe on here, I've got like a bunch of like PDFs or like documents or notes in my notepad that I'm going to give you access to too. What have I just done? I'm taking what is a commodity and I've turned it into an offer that only I can make. So that's what I would suggest. If you want to get out of hourly work, stop putting yourself in hourly work. Like if you're a dentist, if you're a chiropractor, if you're whatever, you got to find a way to make and take you out of being a commodity and make it an offer. Make sense? So it's like, how do I put more things on this? I'm a chiropractor. Well, how do I wrap around more education about stretching and spinal activity and all the other stuff that occurs that that ends up leading to back problems, right? How do I wrap more stuff around that? There you go. And so a lot of people, do work a job and work that for a salary. Well, then I'd almost argue, like, why would I come over here and try and do something completely different that I don't have access, that I don't have any real knowledge to? Why don't I just take what I'm doing for my day job, figure out a way, a platform, a means to take what I'm already doing and extend that out and make more money off that same thing again? So it's like, okay, and one of the easier ways to do this would be write a book, make a blog, make a YouTube channel. So now it's like all the same stuff I'm doing during the day, I'm just now putting it out there for more means and more opportunities. And again, you're already doing this. But the real advantage would be, I would say, to take yourself out of being a commodity, an hourly worker that's capped off at this based on my experience, based on how many years of college. I have no college experience. I've never had college experience, yet I've made millions of dollars. How is that possible? Well, it's possible because it's skills is what boils down to at the end of the day. And again, being in such a free market like the United States, to where sky's the limit with what you could do, there it is, right? And that was done with the larger side hustle that I did, which was like my primary thing. That was creating products, creating digital programs, software as a service, stuff like that, and selling that. Yeah, we made millions. So possible. Yeah, man, absolutely possible. So again, I would just say that that's another variation of the same story that puts yourself in a box. And you got to break out of that. All right. What do I got here? Sell stock photo, video, design assets on digital stores like Envato. I mean, there's so many audio stores now, so many video asset stores. You can make those. If you got those skills, well, in between client work, in between me like trying to hustle and get more clients, I can like take some of the stock stuff I've already shot, the B-roll, the asset clips, the lower thirds, whatever, you name it, the transitions. I can take all that, bundle it, and I'll put it on these platforms. And every time it gets sold, downloaded, used, etc., I get a small piece. I've done no additional work. One thing that I'm huge on that I think is probably the biggest takeaway from this whole entire series and this whole entire gig here is that I'm constantly thinking of how can I just film this one time, go here one time and do this thing one time and then make money off of it, or not even make money, but use it again and again and again in all these other places that do give me the opportunity to make money off of it. So it's the same thing like you're talking about with your job. So, okay, we're working this job. We've got all this experience. How do I take that same thing and now put it over here in front of all these other groups on all these other platforms and make more money off the same thing I'm already doing? That's it. So I always think like that. How do we go and shoot this one piece of content that I could put on 4 different channels or whatever, right? Whatever it is. Okay, rental income. This is a big one. But yeah, there's a ton of guys in the community and housing. I mean, some guys got 15, 20 properties. Some of these properties, I'm telling you, you guys would faint. I mean, one of the properties that somebody showed me was absolutely incredible. I don't even know what this house is worth. 100 million. And it's been passed along in the family. So that's another thing I want to note here really quick is what's the best thing you could pass on? 2 things to your kids, to the next generation is information, education, and land, physical assets. Physical assets are at an all-time low right now. Nobody's holding physical assets. They're holding stocks, equities, risk asset, not even assets, risk-based things, right? Instead of holding like the one thing that you can always go and get a draw off of, the one thing that you can always go and do something with, physically go do something with, something like land, commodities, etc. Right? So yeah, rental income, that's another one. I mean, there's so many communities on that. The one I would suggest for that, if you want to get into that, is Bigger Pockets. They teach you some solid strategies they've come up with and kind of revolutionize some strategies in that community. I think it's great. So that's where I would go for that. Buy crowdfunded real estate. So there's like these secondary markets now that exist, and they exist in almost everything. So you can, like, for example, Prosper. How did Prosper start? Prosper started by people putting up their money in like a peer-to-peer lending platform. And that's how you actually got your loans. I don't know if you know that, but that's how it started. Like people would put up small amounts of money, and ex facto, that would make up your loan that you would get on the front side. So peer-to-peer lending is still huge. It's considered like a secondary market. Usually you don't have to be an accredited investor either. But don't let an accredited investor scare you, because as long as you can prove that you hold $250,000 in assets or more, then you can become an accredited investor. But you don't need to be for a lot of this. Crowdfunded real estate, same thing exists. So take that same concept for peer-to-peer lending, wrap it around a real estate project. There's a ton of that exists as well. What else? Yeah, secondary market investing. Same thing. It's like, there's one I just saw the other day. Masterworks.io, invite only right now, but you can invest small amounts into art. So they buy and sell art. There you go. I mean, that's like one of the most obscure things you could think about, but art, believe it or not, is actually considered a real asset by the banks. Art, community, commodities, and land. Okay, so yeah, you get into all that. Secondary markets also exist for like actual stock market investing too. Again, you don't have to be accredited. Okay, what else? Invest in high yield CDs or savings. We covered this quite a bit on the channel. 3 to 5%. I bonds are 9.62%. I think still. I got to check in. No, up until the end of this month, they'll be 9.62% for an I bond. You can start with as little as $25. You know, I mean, come on, guys. All right. REITs are real estate investment trusts. So you can invest in those. Bonds, just covered that. I bonds. Yeah, a popular one is Airbnb. Rent out your home. Rent out areas of your home. I mean, again, it's something that is probably more common in outside the US, but if you have a space that is set up to shoot video, for example, or a garage that is set up with all the tools and has all the means for somebody to do something, well, you could rent that space out to somebody who wants to just come in and access that. Commonly, you see that with like go rent a spray booth, like you need to paint a car or something, right? Well, you don't need to go buy a paint booth and all that, right? Or take it to a dealer. There's like private spray booths that you can just rent for the day. Take that concept and you could duplicate it with many things. As long as there's demand in your area for that thing, again, it'll work. So yeah, Airbnb, again, so how could we take that concept of Airbnb, which is maybe blown out and maybe super, super crowded, and take a piece of that or an element of it and make it work? So again, if I have a studio set up and I'm already paying the monthly for like to shoot my videos or something, why wouldn't I let other people come in for like 1 day a week or something? And they pay me enough, it helps offset my costs, right? So think of how you could incorporate something like that into the mix. What else? I threw these last two on the end because I actually forgot about these. So there's like many things that I've learned now, woodworking wise, through the old YouTube University, and then gone out and immediately made money off of it. I actually did a whole side hustle example. I wonder if I still have these videos. What did I do this for? I did this for something. Anyway, I went out and I watched a ton of Ligari videos. Ligari has a YouTube channel, and I watched a ton of other guys that concrete floor supply that were doing epoxy floors. And I was just like, dude, this is awesome, and this looks cool too. And so I went out and learned that. I watched hundreds of hours of it, then learned it, then did it, and helped a family member launch an entire business off of this. Like to go in and just do epoxy floors because we got that good at it. And that all started from me literally watching one YouTube video, and then did the same thing with flags. I started making American flags out of epoxy. Oh my God. People love these things. I was selling these things for like $350 to $600 at the time. This is right before the pandemic started, right? And yeah, they loved it. I mean, patriotism is not dead in the United States at all. And so there was people that would, get in line to buy these things, and I'd make them on small scales and big scales. On a big scale, you know what I did? I'll tell you the secret. I just took a hollow core wooden door without the hole cut for a handle. There you go. It was beautiful. It was huge. It fill a whole wall. And yeah, man, that was it. And so, okay, what's the strategy for that? I'll give you a strategy for that right now. Make the epoxy flags, right, out of these big ass doors. Give them out to big YouTubers. Mail them out to them for free, or go hand deliver it for free. There you go. There's your free PR. There's your free marketing. There's your free advertising. Who wouldn't want that, right? Hung up on their wall. So just target the guys who are like diehard, I love America. Make them a flag. Go hand deliver it to them. There you go. There's a video. There's your free marketing. Have a website ready. Done. Like it can be that simple. Not easy, simple. Simple and easy are two different things. So yeah, I learned the whole gambit with epoxy, but then they made all this other stuff too. They made like concrete sealers, like to where you could like revamp concrete. And then I started doing this for like all the neighbors. I didn't even want to do this, but started doing it in the whole neighborhood. Everyone was hiring me to do it in the neighborhood to revamp their concrete. And then we could make sure, like if they had a slab poured wrong, we could redo it and then give that nice brushed look on top. and then seal it properly. It looked like $1 million. You could also get into all the other kind of stuff with this. You could do stamping. Yeah. So I mean, there was mad amounts of money in that. And I mean, look around right now. Like even right now, contractors and construction workers are in high demand still in the United States. Everywhere you look, they're backlogged 1 month to 6 months out. There you go. I mean, that's clearly speaking to demand, right? And a lot of times, like you know as well as I do, you've hired contractors. I mean, are they? A lot of times you get bent over, like they're not that great. So go be a really great contractor, charge a little bit more, and there you go. Hey, what's up, Robert? Cool, man. Thanks for checking in. So yeah, here we are, 51 minutes in, and that's it. That's all I got for you. So that's like well over 70 side hustles that you could take and start doing right now. And I hope, if nothing else, this just gives you an idea, maybe even possibly a different way of looking at things. But as I've said now 3-4 times throughout the stream, is that I can assure you that everything I've shared, nothing is new. And instead, what I urge you to take a look at is your mental game, because a lot of this just has to do with I can't do it because you got to start holding yourself more accountable to answer that question. You got to look yourself in the mirror and be able to answer that question. Like, why am I not getting started on this thing? What is actually stopping me? I mean, it's funny. Just like, you know, people would tell me if I was talking to them face to face or whatever in the comment section, is you'll start with like the surface layer excuse of, well, I can't because this. You don't understand. It's this, it's that. You don't understand. You don't get it. It's different for you. It's this, it's that, right? That we call bullshit. That is the surface level. We need to get down to it, all the way down to the real stuff. The real stuff is, I feel like a fraud. What if I fail? What will my family think of me? I can't do it because, you know, I can't jump. I can't take the shot, right? All of that, like the stage fright, those different elements, all of that is what actually is the big moving pieces, man. I'm telling you, it's the mental game. It's like 90% of it. Like everything I just shared with you means nothing, because if you can't go start, if you can't go do something, then what's the point? There we go. Let's do questions really quick. I just got done training before I jumped on this. So it's like train, ice bath, jump on here. I'm still down on my smoothie, but I wanted to kick this thing off. So here's what you can expect over the side hustle series. I'm going to highlight some side hustles that I've done. We're going to kind of do the next video you can expect is my foray into whatnot. We're going to be shooting some bonus material for Patreon members and for YouTube members, because now that I've spent hundreds of hours in this game, oh man, do I got some cool little sneaky tricks. If you want to sell, oh man, cards, like baseball cards, Magic the Gathering cards, any sort of baseball card or card, you want to sell games, you want to sell toys, you want to sell amiibos, you want to sell vintage vinyl records, you want to sell VHS, DVDs, Blu-rays, anything like that, Whatnot is a great platform for that. And so that's where we're going to kind of kick this thing off. And I think I'm going to highlight more side hustles that I've done. And on each one of those videos, we'll be doing a giveaway. And the giveaway will be based on, in the start, I've got 4 weeks worth of stuff to give away. So one giveaway a week for 4 weeks, based on stuff that I bought myself, which I think would just be cool as like a gift. You can sell it. You can do whatever you want with it. But again, it's just my way of like giving back to the channel. You guys have been amazing. This community that we've now built is only going to get stronger as time grows. So yeah, that's kind of my way of giving back. And this is going to become a yearly thing. So we're going to do the side hustle series going into the holidays from now on. Oh, hey, what's up, man? Thank you, sir. USA is a huge gem to this community, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So yeah, this is only going to get bigger. This is like the first year that we're going to do it. And I think we'll mostly kind of feature my side hustles to give you inspiration and ideas. And then maybe next year we'll feature other people in the community, because there's a ton of people going through getting business credit right now. I want to see them in a year from now and see how much they're crushing it. And so we're going to do this side hustle series every year, right around the holidays, because around the holidays is when we all need more money, right? That being said, I would just say that, like, you know, regardless of what you're going through money-wise, is like holidays are supposed to be for your family, man. And I understand that the family and the nuclear family is like really under attack, and people are telling you that it's stupid and it's dumb and it's a bad idea, but it's not. Like, having love at the table, having food, a full belly, like that's really all that matters. Like, I've gone through, you know, many holidays where we didn't even have a holiday, right? And the church donated it to us when I was a kid growing up. So like, believe me when I say, like, all that really matters is having amazing people around you, a full belly, telling stories, having laughs together. That's all that really matters. So the money stuff, great, cool. That's fun too. And definitely having a lot of it to be able to then go and get amazing gifts for the people that you love. It makes it even better. But like, don't be too hard on yourself during the holiday season. That's all I got to say about that. So yeah, there it is. Over 70 side hustles, baby. And my voice is like going now. Voice is starting to go a little bit. But yeah, any questions, anything for you guys? Oh, so we are rapidly approaching 10,000 subscribers. I'm going to bring on a bunch of people when we hit that number, and that'll be about celebrating you guys because you guys have really made this thing happen. So you guys keep watching the videos. We're just trying to dial in and make sure that we convey the proper message and provide the most amount of value. That's all I really care about in the videos. And clearly that's working. And so, man, I'm so excited to cross 10,000 subscribers. And once we do that, maybe we'll do like a celebratory and everyone can come on that wants to and share their story, because all we've really been doing along the way is highlighting your guys' story from the community, right? You guys share, we share it, and everyone gets to learn from it. And that's like that rising tide rises all boats or all ships mentality is what's going to really, really keep pushing this forward. So before we go, we got new pages on the website. I don't know if you guys know this. WalletMonkey.io. We rolled out. We took all the credit unions, so we made a master credit union credit lender list. Okay, wow, that's a mouthful. Master credit union lender list. There it is. So we broke that out onto its own page. We're starting to fill that up. Over 40 records in the table. All the heavy hitters in terms of credit unions. We got mad amounts of data points. Then on the other side, we're starting to tackle the business side. So not sole proprietors, but LLCs, partnership, S Corp, C Corp, all of that, where it's like you got an EIN. I know that you can get an EIN for a sole proprietor, but like more so, we're talking outside of that realm, because a lot of the guys getting business credit are just doing a sole prop, and it's their social security number, right? So outside of that, there's like this whole other world of business credit. And I know that most people think you got to go out and build up net 30s and all that, and that's one way of doing it, but there's other ways. And so anyways, we've got the whole YouTube video series that we've created that's on the channel as well, under business credit building or something, I think it is. But now we've got all the pages on the site as well. And one of those is business credit card intel. I've linked it in the Discord, and as long as you're following the site, you can go find it right now. Up in the top right-hand corner, there will be a new tab. It'll be business credit, and you'll see all of that listed there. And the business credit card intel tells you what bureau they pull and where they report. And also too, is it going to personal? Like, is personal involved at all? Or is it just business? What, right? So anyways, really looking forward to building that out. We got some videos coming to announce that. And, obviously just another opportunity for us to pull in some data points from all of you from the community so we can make those pages better, right? That's it. All right. Yeah, time for me to eat. Any last minute questions before I go? Thank you so much for everybody who jumped in, whether you jumped in and you've been here the whole time, or you just popped in. I know that we don't stream as often as I'd like, but yeah, we'll definitely do it more. Look at that. Everyone's kind of piling in here at the end. Cool. We did start at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which I did on purpose, as I mentioned several times, is because early to rise, those people that are trying to really shift their mindset, shift their patterns, habits, with doing healthy stuff in the morning, waking up early, that's how I really wanted to focus on. So anyways, thank you so much, guys, for everything that you've done for the channel, helping us become what we are now. And really appreciate the support. Love you guys. Yeah. So thank you. That's it. We'll end it there. Cool. See you on the channel.